Michigan, 1692. In the village of Royal Woods, there was a boy named Lincoln Loud who was out in the woods looking for firewood to bring back to his family. He made sure that he didn't go far, so he wouldn't get lost. He was also in a hurry to get the wood in time before the sun went down, and the darkness of the night would cover the area. He had heard of stories of Royal Woods Witch from other local villagers. From what he had heard from them, the Royal Woods Witch was a shadowy figure that comes out in the night. During the night, the witch would do her brewery work on spells, and they would also say she would catch anyone who saw her and turn them into an animal. That was why Lincoln was in a hurry. He didn't want to run into her and get turned into an animal, like a wolf or something. As he gathers the last bit of firework and begins to head back to the village, the sun had already sunk into the horizon, and the darkness of the night was already spreading through the forest. It wasn't too dark, but it didn't matter to Lincoln, as he walked as fast as he could, while he looks around to make sure that the witch wasn't near. Okay, I'm nearly home, and there's no sign of the witch. Suddenly, he hears a weird noise to his left. He looks and sees a weird lights illuminating from behind the trees. Despite his better judgment, Lincoln goes over to investigate, as if he was a typical horror movie teen. He peeks his head through the behind the trees slowly. From there he saw a cauldron in the middle of the circled trees. Inside the cauldron was bubbling green liquid, and at the bottom was a low fire. An 8-year-old was wearing all black, with a witch's hat came out from behind the tree. She was carrying weird items. As she approached the cauldron, where she proceeds to dump them all in it. Then she proceeds to pull out a spell book from her hat and reads it as she waves her hand above the cauldron. Lincoln couldn't believe his eyes. His 8-year-old girl was the witch that everyone feared. But even though revolution was shocking, he decided to stay put and try not to make his presence known, because she was still a witch, and she was still dangerous. Suddenly she said a weird chant, and a wave of her hand. A liquid turned purple, and smoke rose out from it. Whoa! Lincoln moves his foot and stepped on the twig. The girl closes up the book and turns into his direction. She only caught a glimpse of Lincoln's retreating back as she returns to the forest. Lincoln then enters his house, slams the door shut. As he leaned against it, breathed heavily as his heart beat rapidly. His mother and father approach him to concern. Lincoln, you're late. You had us worried, Lynn Sr. said. Rita, honey, you know the rules. Everyone in this community must return to their homes after sunset. Why were you late? I was getting firewood, and the sun went down and I was coming back. Then I saw weird lights. I had to investigate. Lynn Sr., yes, son? I saw her. I saw the witch. His parents gasped. They rushed over to him and gave him a very tight hug, making him drop anything remaining of the firewood onto the floor. Rita, oh, thank the Lord you got away. Yeah, thanks to the Lord, my son, you managed to avoid a certain death. The family held each other to dear life, thanking the Lord for the safety of Lincoln. Lincoln entered his room with a candle in his hands. He was worried, although he managed to get away from the witch. He was for sure that she saw him, and that made him scared, and that she was going to come after him. Lincoln then goes to the window and checked outside to see if she was there, but she wasn't, and that didn't calm his nerves. He locks the window and proceeds to check his room to see if she was in it. He checks under the bed, his wardrobe, and the very dark corner. Seeing no one there helped Lincoln calm his nerves. Okay, relax, Lincoln. She doesn't know where you live, so she can't find you. I hope to the great Lord that she can't. Getting into his bed, Lincoln puts the candle in his small table, and after he got himself from under the bed covers, he blew out the flames in the room that went dark. As Lincoln gets ready to close his eyes, he looked towards the window and saw the witch staring at him. He gasps in fright and quickly ducks under the covers. He shakes and frights for a few seconds before he takes a peek. The witch wasn't at the window at all anymore. At first he thought she left, until he felt hot breathing hit the side of his face. Lincoln looks over to see her pale face very close to his face. Lincoln then jumps in fright, jumps out of the covers, backs away into the wall. The witch watched him. She then craned over her neck from side to side. Her hair was covering her eyes, making it hard to see what her emotion was. Lincoln's emotions, however, was very clear. He was beyond scared. He was terrified. He knew now what she was going to get him with. He then hears her say quietly, "Perfect." She then grabs his shoulders tightly, and with the mumble of a spell, flashlights swallowed them up, and then it fades to an empty room. When the parents came to wake them up, they were horrified to discover he had disappeared. They were horrified when they discovered any traces of magic dust. After seeing the dust, they knew what happened. The witch got him. As for Lincoln, the witch who had told them her name was Lucy had made him her slave, and he was forced to help her get stuff for her spells, clean her cauldron, make sure that the broom was not damaged, and serve under her command. He didn't run away or resist her, because she told him that if he did, she would turn him into wood, so Lincoln was forever trapped there, and he could never be free, ever again.